Hey, so this week we are talking about domestic violence or sexual violence in sports. I did my PowerPoint on Reuben Foster. He's an NFL player who had a really recent domestic violence arrest, and I kind of looked at his past criminal history. And it was kind of crazy to see that he even went into the combine. He got in trouble for being belligerent towards a hospital staff, and then he had diluted urine sample, which the NFL deems as a positive drug test. He then went on to get a misdemeanor charge for possession of marijuana. He got arrested for domestic violence back in January or February. He got charged for having an illegal weapon. Then to go on, he then just recently got arrested and was held for a few days without bail for another domestic violence situation. And to me, that's just kind of crazy that he's had all these legal issues, and two of those being domestic violence, one of them being having an illegal gun, and he's still in the NFL. The big thing right now that I was looking up and seeing articles on was that he was dropped from the 49ers because of his recent domestic violence charge, but still the Redskins of Washington picked him up as a player. And although that he's on the commissioner's exempt list right now and he cannot participate in trainings or games, he could still be at team meetings and workouts, which is just, for me, is kind of crazy. Professional sports, especially the NFL, is so big, has such a large platform where they do things like salute to service and they honor our veterans and those serving in the military, and they have breast cancer awareness, and they, publicize and make big all these things that are, very important. But when it comes to something so serious like domestic violence, it's pushed under the rug, so to say, so these athletes can play. My personal opinion, I think it's unexcusable. I think even just an accusation of violence, domestic violence or any violence of any sort actually, should automatically have a harsher repercussion. I think the NFL is doing its teams and its players, even its fans, a disservice by not having larger or more severe repercussions when a athlete, is in a domestic violence case, especially when they are found to have, actually, been involved in domestic violence and, hurt someone else. I'm dumbfounded by what the research that I've done and the articles I've been looking at. There's one article that just started having listing all these athletes that have been in the NFL that have been charged with domestic violence. And I started counting, and I think I got to 60 before I realized that this page just kept reloading and more people were coming up. And I just think that's unacceptable, especially when there's young kids that look up to these athletes and, whatever they do, they think is acceptable because these people are still making money and they're still famous. But it's just really unexcusable, and we need to, set a greater, higher expectation for professional athletes and their actions. I was in a gender issues class, and I talked a lot about the Hope Solo, who was a goalkeeper on the women's national soccer team, and she got her contract was not renewed. It was terminated, and she was kicked off the team indefinitely after she was found not guilty of domestic violence with her 18-year-old nephew, and after she spoke out and she got a DUI. Just those three things, her contract was terminated. Yet in this situation, we have athletes, male athletes like Reuben Foster, who just in his 2 short years in the NFL have 5 different behavior and legal issues, and he's picked up again. which is a little bit crazy to me. So all in all, I think that, preventative measures by the NFL, there needs to be stricter policies. There needs to be more severe repercussions. They need to set a higher standard altogether, because I really think that those that are inclined to, be involved in domestic violence, they don't see losing their jobs or losing money as a threat. 2-game suspension is really nothing in the long run of things. And I think that's just a little sad that the repercussions aren't, more severe, especially when it's something that is so serious. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks.